All right, week one. I got a little excited earlier, but week one is here. It is the moment we've all been waiting for. We have actual meaningful games. No offense to Farmageddon, but it is here. It is time. The SEC is back in action. As you can see, our rundown is completely full, as is the studio. All seven of us are present. Hammer and Boss Man in the same studio. Oh, my
Jeb's
God.
back. Jeb's back.
Jeb is back. He's in he's rocking and rolling, rocking like a hurricane. Glad to have you back, Jeb. Stephen Willis, Jeb Beecham, Hammer, Boss Man, Mike Huseman, Jake Thomas joined me, Corey Burton. We all come together, join forces for the greatest show in all of the land, SEC After Dark. Boys, let's get it cracking, man. What's going on? What's good?
I'm glad to be back.
Yeah,
it's exciting. It's too exciting right now not to be back. So
that's right.
Speaking of back,
football, baby, we're back.
Yeah, exactly. Football is back.
Our first football take is Bo Perbula is legit.
Second take, Jake. Be glad
CJ Bailey,
South Florida this year because they are running it up on Boise.
They have to play Florida, by the way.
Yeah, they do.
True. Yeah.
Look out! Look out! That's not going to be easy.
I mean, the USF quarterback, he's been there a while. He's pretty good. I think he got hurt last year, didn't he? And they kind of fell apart.
Correct.
But
Yes,
he's solid.
Exactly what
and
happened.
Golesh knows what he's doing.
Exactly.
Yeah, Golesh is the offensive coordinator. He learned well. He did a good
right.
job. He picked up from Josh Heupel, all that stuff. Their offense looks like the Tennessee offense.
Yeah.
South Florida next week at Florida, the week after that at Miami. So they got some tough ones coming up.
And I couldn't pick up on what it was, but Boise State's missing something from last year. They're just not the same.
Hey, boys, we can't get started without this. This is the world's longest cold open, by the way.
Oh.
It's lava time. Now we're officially here.
We're back.
We're back again.
So if you're hanging out watching the show or whatever, participate in the chat with us. If you have a pick, this whole show is going to essentially be picks. We're going to do it a little bit differently than we have. It's going to be SEC picks all the way through, and we're going to focus on the biggest games of the weekend.
Yeah, it's going to be so efficient, and you're going to love us for it. So, first game, let's just dive right in. Right, the first game, number 1 versus number 2. I think they got the order flipped, honestly, but
Ohio State should be the number 1 team.
Number 1 hosts
They
number
should.
2, or at least the way it should be. Ohio State hosting Texas. This will be Arch Manning versus Julian Sayin. Arch Manning's first real start as an unequivocal starter. You've got Julian Sayin leading it off for the defending champs. Going to be an absolute barn burner. Or actually, it might be a defensive slugfest, really. What do you guys think, man? Like, there's a whole lot of takes out there about Arch Manning. Hammer, Boss Man, I listened to you guys' show last night talking about Arch Manning and, just kind of the skepticism around him. Not saying we're not saying he's a bad quarterback or going to be a bad quarterback. We're just saying hold up, right? Just like pump the brakes, right?
Right.
Is that what we're saying?
Yeah, I think that's kind of what we were trying to say on the show last night is that, like, how many meaningful snaps has he taken? And the hype train is out of control. I was actually happy to see Jordan Rodgers talk about it a little bit the other day. And, Texas fans were all mad about that. But he basically came out. He's like, look, I'm just not seeing it on tape yet. I want to see it. And that's kind of where I sit. That's where I've been, is that let's just see it. I think he's going to be a really good quarterback. But maybe that's going to be by game 4, 5, 6, towards the end of the season as he gets a lot of reps under his belt. I'm just not ready to crown the kid yet. And walking into the shoe in week 1 is pretty dadgum difficult for your first start, in a real game, a serious game at least.
Replacing offensive line pieces too, Steve. Yeah.
4.
Yeah. By the way, you have a situation where Texas fans are calling basically Jordan Rodgers a Nepo baby for criticizing Arch Manning. He won 9 games at Vanderbilt. He can say whatever he wants. That's the equivalent of what Cam Newton did at Vanderbilt.
Yeah. I mean, it might as well be, right? I mean, you see see the sweet Vandy hat behind my shoulder here as I'm going like full on locked on Vandy. But yeah, Jordan Rodgers, man, like he has the pedigree to be able to talk about this stuff, man. And he, if there's somebody who can judge quarterbacks on that panel on the SEC network, it's probably Jordan Rodgers number one, because he's, Tebow, sure, but Jordan Rodgers, I think overall as a quarterback is probably better suited for that than Tebow. But like Texas fans are so sensitive, man. If you say they're going anything less than 12-0 and a natty, they think you hate them. They just go crazy. It's like, okay, dude, like pump the brakes. You got a new quarterback. You're replacing a lot on the offensive line. Maybe you lose 3 games because you play your toughest games on the road, and then the 4th toughest game is a neutral site that you always have trouble with against Oklahoma. Like maybe 9-3 is a good season for what you have coming up, and that might not be good enough for the playoff, but like you got to be a little realistic, right?
No, you sound like a hater.
That all applies to Ohio State too, though. New quarterback replacing the offensive line,
Exactly.
Yeah.
We on the Big Ten Squad Show on the Locked On Network, everybody picked Texas. On the SEC Squad Show, everybody picked Ohio State,
except Gordon.
I mean that's just the way this is working out, because 15 out of the top 23 odds-on favorite teams in college football are replacing their starting quarterback. So the odds, the reality is nobody knows what's going to happen. Sayan could walk out and completely be out of his depth. Arch Manning could be the Arch Manning that he was against Georgia. And if that happens, everybody is going to freak out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or we could have the greatest quarterback duel of all time with those two. Yeah. Like you never know what's going to happen. But to me, I see that game, I see Texas, Ohio State being a freaking slugfest. Like no offense is going to be able to get much footing. And I think that favors the home team. Those kind of games favor the home team.
Yeah. One thing to note just about replacing guys, we talked about this previewing the Texas season. Their coaching staff continuity, for as successful as they have been, is rare. They've, Sark obviously calls the offense, but Kwiatkowski's been there the entire time. Whereas Ohio State, 2 new coordinators, Chip Kelly's gone, and Knowles is at Penn State now, which is kind of crazy. But 2 new coordinators. They got Hartline, I think, calling plays for the first time. So I'm with you, Corey. I think with all the newness on the Texas side, their offense might struggle, and then same with Ohio State, especially with a new coordinator and first-time play caller.
Yeah, I just think defense is just gonna. You're gonna watch that game and go, these teams bring their offenses. Like it's gonna appear that way, but we know the circumstances.
You've also got 0 returning starters. I believe that's correct, along the defensive line for Ohio State. So Texas is replacing someone across the defensive line as well, but they still have, dogs like Colin Simmons. I picked him to be my defensive player of the year in the SEC last night. I think he's a stud. So Texas, they brought in some transfers. They're not replacing as much along the defensive line as Ohio State is. So I could for sure see this game being very sloppy in the first half. And then from there, it's just going to be scrapping to get points. I also, just like Jeremiah Smith, who can cover that guy? I don't think there's anybody in college football that can cover that guy. I don't really care who your quarterback is. Ohio State's going to figure out ways to get that guy the ball, and I just favor the home team in this one. If this was in Austin, I'd probably be going with Texas, but because it's at the Shoe, Arch's first start, etc., I have a good feeling about Ohio State.
Yeah, I was going home team regardless.
I was going to say, Brian Hartline calling plays for the first time. You have a guy like Jeremiah Smith. You just tell saying find that dude and get him the ball, and then let him, make plays with his legs. And on the opposite side, you have probably the best defensive back in the country, and Caleb Downs, as well. So both of those guys could really shape, since they are kind of like the leaders and the veterans of this team, how this game is going to play out, if it's going to be in Ohio's favor.
Jeb, what do you see, man?
To me, it's 2 just really loaded teams that they're replacing important pieces, but they're very similar. I love it as a first game of the season. This is just going to be a wild game, and I do think the hype train behind Arch Manning has gotten out of control. At the same time, I like him more than y'all do. I think he's going to have a good season.
I don't dislike him. I think he's going to have a fine season. But I think the hype around it is more than just fine. Like I think a fine season, a good season is a disappointment based on the hype train.
I think having him on the Heisman watch right now is ridiculous. I'll give you that. He's done nothing to warrant that yet besides his last name.
And that's all.
But coming from Tennessee, I have a lot of faith in the Manning.
A QB whose team is in the playoffs is a Heisman candidate at this point. That's where we're at.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah. Austin Simmons is a Heisman candidate because of that. Nussmeier. I mean, guys who haven't started.
Say it, Mike.
I will say it. Yeah. My hot take for the year is that either Simmons or Arch will be a finalist because one of their teams will be in the playoffs and they'll get there. That's the formula. Last year was the outlier in having two non-QBs as our top two.
We are speaking that into existence.
Ty Simmons is involved in that too and could be a guy that gets there.
Yeah, Steve Snight is just got much.
Yeah, I'm pretty good. I can go to sleep right now. Good night.
You want to add Marcel Reed to that?
Yeah, Steve, goodbye, man.
Yeah.
Good night.
We can. My take on that. Corey, you said some points that I liked a lot. The slugfest, a lot of defense, probably teams leaning on the run game, and agree with that. But you and Bossman said you guys lean the home team in that. I'm going to lean the team with the better defense in that, and I think it's Texas.
Okay, I mean that's a fair point.
Texas defense is going to be legit, no doubt.
It's not going to come down to. It's going to come down to Mike. To your point, it's going to come down to not the known commodities on either defense. It's how the unknown commodities factor into
absolutely.
That. It's how they're able to piece it all together and be able to function as one unit. Is Texas's new pieces going to be better than Ohio State's new pieces? And that's going to make the difference in the game. Same on the offensive line.
And it's a travesty that this is at 11 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah. The Midwesterner in me loves these early games. It's so fantastic. Waking up, having Dr. McGillicuddy's at 8 in the morning on a crisp fall morning, getting to the stadium. Oh, it's fantastic.
A crisp fall morning down here is 84.
That's fair. Yeah.
I absolutely hate that I'm going to miss
It's 55 where I'm coming from.
Yeah. You tell folks like Baton Rouge, you got an 11 a.m. kickoff and we're all pissed off because, hey, we wanted to drink all day. We wanted to roast at 84 degrees all the way until 7 p.m. and have.
How drunk can you get by 11?
Yeah.
You'd be surprised. Is that a challenge?
Let's put that
I'm going to try. I'm just asking.
And listen, I'll be honest. I was going to say, I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be flipping to this Texas Ohio State game with tears pouring out my eyes after watching that Lee Corso, final head pick. That's gonna jerk some tears there. That's gonna be like one of those grenades that just goes through everyone's house. I know,
ignites tears everywhere.
Yeah.
And before we make our picks on this game, I do want to say, if the SEC, if Tiger State, if LSU makes the playoffs, if Alabama makes the playoffs. Heck, if Tennessee makes the playoffs and gets to host a game, the cold weather that the Big Ten had the advantage of last time, I don't think they know what that environment will be like when they walk into that door. They play some crazy games at Oregon. They play some crazy games at Ohio State. But I'm telling you, Tennessee can be different. LSU can be different. And if there's a playoff game to where rivalry is on top of what's going on in the playoff, that could be a really special environment.
It absolutely can. And before we get into our picks, I self-corrected, Stacy. Okay, I self-corrected. I didn't go down that path. Get your mind out of the gutter. All right, here we go. Let's get some picks in. Steve, how do you see this game?
In this situation, I think Ohio State should be the number one team in the country because they're defending national champion, and Texas's last loss was to Ohio State in the state of Texas. Give me the Ohio State Buckeyes in this game.
All right, Jeb.
Between these two great teams with new quarterbacks, I'm going with the Manning. I'm sorry, I'm taking Texas.
Yeah, I'm taking Ohio State here. The home team. It favors the home team. I think it's going to go in favor. It's going to be a close one. It's going to be a tight one, but I think it's going to go in favor of Ohio State. Hammer?
Yeah, this is partially an emotional hedge and partially just I don't know what to expect out of either one of these teams. So I'm taking the underdog Texas to at least cover. If I'm going to get 2.5 points, I'll take it and roll the dice.
Boss man.
Yeah, this one's pretty much a straight up pick here. For me, it's just about Jeremiah Smith and Caleb Downs. I think they're the difference makers in this game. And the fact that we have this one in Columbus instead of in Austin, I just lean with Ohio State and Arch Manning's first spot. We got a lot on the offensive line that we're trying to work in with Texas. So give me Ohio State.
Mike?
And for me, the decider, Colin Simmons, Anthony Hill, Malik Muhammad, Michael Toffee, that they're the deciders. I'm going with the Horns.
All right, Jake.
I'm going Ohio State pretty much with like everything Bossman has said. I think Jeremiah Smith and Caleb Downs are the two best players in the country, and they're going to make plays when it matters and win this ball game for Ohio State.
And here's the visual for you guys in this really groovy graphic. I love it.
Yeah, it is.
Right in the middle, front and center. We got Jeb, Mike, and Hammer on Texas, and the rest of us on the Buckeyes. Man, this is so groovy.
Becky held her notes.
Listen to
she
synthesizer music play out.
Yeah.
That had to be tough on Big.
That made me feel like I was at a roller derby or Chuck E. Cheese. I love it.
The skating rink. What was
That's a skating rink.
That's definitely skating rink, right?
Yeah.
We're gonna slow it down. Find that special stuff.
80s music, man. That's good stuff.
Oh, yeah. All right. The Battle of Death Valley. That's our next marquee matchup. This one, I love this one even more than Texas Ohio State. I'm a big proponent of these. These are two great atmospheres. The Battle of Death Valley. I think they should take this seriously in the fact that the winner gets to keep the Death Valley name for the year, and the other one has to strip it from their stadium. And like Clemson, it's like in big letters, welcome to Death Valley. Like imagine them losing this game and having to take that down.
LSU does the same thing.
Yeah, well, I mean, Clemson's I think is bigger. I think it spans wide.
Oh, it's massive. Yeah.
But LSU's like lights up. So I don't know. Whatever you want to draw the line there. But LSU comes in, did extremely well in the portal. Garrett Nussmeier, Cade Klubnik, two Heisman favorites, squaring off in what I think is going to be a really good quarterback duel. You got two teams, Clemson, a playoff team, LSU vying for a playoff spot. They're in good position. This one's going to be fun. This one's going to be electric. It's at Clemson. It's at night. You're going to Howard's Rock, running down the hill, all the stuff. Man, I'm excited for this one. And I had on the squad show earlier this summer, Locked On Squad Show, I picked Cade Klubnik as my Heisman favorite early season. I think he's going to have a monster year. I think it's going to start here.
What did we pick this one at? I forget the line that we went.
We picked it at
4.5.
4 points. Okay.
It has since gone down to 3.5 in favor of Clemson.
I'm surprising it's going in that direction.
Yeah, it's getting closer to the midline here. So, Steve, what are your first thoughts on this game? What stands out to you as far as this matchup goes?
Whenever you're dealing with an ACC or a Big 12 team and they have a chance to get an SEC scalp in their home stadium, that place is going to turn into a cauldron. It's not that Clemson is special or thinks anything against LSU or anything like that. It's just the SEC. They see that logo. They see that it just means more, and they're going to really dig in. LSU has lost 5 straight season openers, including 2 games against Florida State. I think this is going to be hard to win. The only thing we can hope for, and I want to see it happen, I don't want to see anybody get hurt, but I want to see it happen. But Davo, when he does his sprint down the hill, I want him to face plant.
I knew where that was going.
I wasn't sure where that was going. I was going to say, like, maybe they run him. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think this
he hits that dip right there, and he
He launches.
he goes so fast. It's a wonder he hasn't at this point. I mean, he flies down that hill.
Yeah, when he crests that second hump there, like there's a lot of momentum going there. Like you come up and over that, like I'm surprised he hadn't caught a toe on that.
Yeah, if he has to stop in a hurry, he's going to pop a hammy or an Achilles.
Yeah,
he goes up 100 because he has to.
Yeah, he is way too old to be running that fast.
Oh gosh, yeah. Jake, what do you see in this matchup? Like, are you fired up about Klubnik, Nussmeier? Do you have a preference in either one of those quarterbacks?
I like Klubnik, and I think Nussmeier has been really good at LSU. To me, in this game, it all comes down to the head coaches, and I trust Dabo more than I do Brian Kelly to win a big game at the moment. So I'm definitely going to go, leaning towards Clemson this game.
Fair enough, Mike. What do you like? What stands out to you?
I have significant doubts about Nussmeier's health in that knee. From talking to people, seeing things, and the
coach called it chronic. The head coach said chronic.
Yeah. I don't know if this is founded or true, but I'd heard it was a degenerative issue that we're talking about.
It's not good. Not good at all.
Beyond that, again, especially in these early season games, I'm going to kind of sound like a broken record with what I said with the first game, but that Clemson defense is really good. They're a top 10, maybe top 5 nationally on the defensive front and at linebacker. They return a lot of those guys, and they were good at stopping the run. So I think that Clemson D is going to be ready for this one. And I have some doubts about LSU's receivers. We don't know how that group will be. It'll be curious to see. I think Durham's a good running back, and a lot of it could come down to Nussmeier's health there. But it's how that Clemson front seven, if they can do what we've seen them do before, and a lot of them are returning. Like I said, I think for me that's what to watch.
Yeah, Hammer, boss man. Like when you have and Mike, great point about Clemson's defense. They're nasty. When you have a group that's trying to gel and trying to come together and get on the same page, like training camp is great, but like you never really get those true live game reps, and you're trying to do so in a cauldron against a defense that is ferocious. How difficult is that?
Yeah, it's extremely difficult. And I think we saw this last year a little bit with LSU and Nussmeier's game where, the big time road games is when he turned the ball over. And I think he'll improve on that overall this year. But, a big reason for that was the lack of running game. And Mike, you mentioned, I think Durham's a good back too. And I don't quite know if last year LSU's issue was just a lack of commitment to the run game or truly they could not run block. But even if they commit to the run in this game, as we've all brought up, like the Clemson defense is nasty. I think they only lost 3 starters off of last year's team. So a lot of experience back on that side of the ball. The place is going to be rocking. It's at home. I do worry about the game as it typically has been under LSU being solely on the quarterback's shoulders because they can't run and being in a tough environment and breaking in, talented but new receivers to LSU makes it a very tall task. And you're going to have to get a, first round draft level performance out of Nussmeier, which he's capable of, but easier said than done.
Yeah, I'm sending people. I'm testing that knee. I'm testing Nussmeier's mobility. Yep. I'm testing that offensive line's ability to pick up pass protections and pick up stunts and things like that. Like I'm coming after him and seeing what he's got.
I mean, that's the questions I have in this game. You guys mentioned the defense for Clemson. 4 offensive linemen went to the NFL from LSU, right? So they're breaking in these new offensive linemen. This defense for Clemson is experienced. Little known fact, don't hate on me too much. I went to Clemson for a year. My freshman year, I went to Clemson. And so I know that stadium very well. And
hey, I don't hate you.
We picked the weird schools, A&M, Clemson, all the Colts.
That's right.
We're trying them all out.
All that was left was to say Auburn.
That's right. So, I know that school very well. I went to all the games my freshman year. Kyle Parker was the quarterback when I was there. Taj Boyd was a freshman. If you want to go look up the roster as to when I was there.
So before they were great, that's
just before Spurrier still owned them. Yep.
You were a Clemson fan before it was cool to be a Clemson fan.
I was. All right. Yep. Hammer and I's mom went to Clemson, so we had a little bit of ties there. But
that was in the hardcore Clemsoning era.
It was.
Was that the Danny Ford years?
It was. I can't remember if that was the year. I think the year after was when they went to the whichever bowl it was and lost to West Virginia like 70-14 or something insane.
Yeah,
It was-
I like the Clemson. Yeah,
They got Billy Napier fired.
Yeah, that's right.
Mhm.
So, but I only mentioned that to say, I know how that environment is, that it is a very difficult place to play, especially at night. And it's nothing LSU hasn't seen before. However, in the first game of the year, breaking in new offensive linemen when it's going to be extremely loud, you're trying to make your checks and your calls at the line with a defense that is going to be one of the best defenses Clemson's had in a while. Tom Allen, new defensive coordinator, he's going to be bringing the heat. It's tough for me to see LSU, coming out with a victory in this one. I also think on the other side, you got to think about Clemson probably has their best receiving core that they've had in a long time. Cade Klubnik looks like at the end of the year last year, that Texas game really showed us a lot. He's coming into this year riding high with a lot of confidence. And I think LSU has talent on the back end. They're probably more talented on the back end than they've been in a while. But a lot of those guys are also new. A lot of those guys were transfers. So we're going to be breaking in new guys in the defensive secondary. So I think there's just a lot of question marks here for LSU, and going on the road in game one, I think it's going to be difficult.
Well, let's pick it.
Just real quick. I'm watching the Missouri game, and Aaron Murray looks like a 1930 silent movie villain.
Yeah, silent movie. They doesn't talk.
Yeah.
Okay, that ruins that one. All right, let's pick it. Jake?
I'm going Clemson, go home team, and like I said earlier, I trust Dabo more than I do Brian Kelly to win a big game, and this is a big game starting out the season.
Absolutely. Mike?
Defense wins this one, Clemson.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah, I think it's Clemson at home. I think Clemson with this defense, and I'm just worried about some of the newness with LSU. I do think they have a great season, but they also 0-5 or whatever in their last five.
Right.
Open. So until they show me, I'm picking the opposite team.
Hammer?
I'm picking LSU to cover here. I think Clemson will win, but I like this as kind of a defensive battle. And so if there's 4.5 points out there, give me the underdogs.
Yeah. Well, it's currently at 3. So if you were able to get it in at 4, great.
Yeah, I wouldn't take it at 3, but 4.5 I like.
Yeah, I'm taking Clemson 3.5 or 4.5. I think their defense is going to really put Garrett Nussmeier to the test, and I don't think this offensive line is going to be able to hold up. Klubnik's going to have a nice day. Great receivers. Home crowd is going to be absolutely bonkers. So give me the Clemson Tigers.
Yeah, seriously, with Clemson, I'm going to take the Tigers on this one, the Clemson version of the Tigers. LSU is over the last 5 in their season openers. Yeah, they're over their last 5 in the season openers. And also, they spent $20 million on this transfer portal class. I want to see what the disaster, the nuclear bomb looks like in Tiger Stadium if they drop 2 games in September.
Jeb, we kind of just skipped over you.
That's all right. That's all right. No, this was a tougher one for me because there was a short period there where it looked like Clemson might just fall victim to this whole NIL era and kind of fade away. And I was maybe slightly kind of rooting for that, but I had it to them. They fixed it. I think Dabo was able to adapt pretty well, and I like the team they built. I'm going to take them in this one. I don't trust Brian Kelly near as much, like Jake said. So.
Mm-hmm.
I'm with you there, and just for the visual, just so we can bring back the Dazzles skating rink. Becky and Hammer are on LSU. Steve, myself, Jeb, Jake, Boss Man, Mike, and Cassidy are all on the Clemson Tigers. I don't know if 3.5 would change any of y'all's picks. It wouldn't for me, but here we go.
Mm-hmm. Nope.
All right, our last
would not for me.
Our last game, our last marquee matchup, I should say, not our last game. Our last marquee matchup here, Auburn. It's Friday Night Lights, actually. It's tomorrow night. Auburn taking on Baylor, the best high school game in the state of Texas this week. Oh, just kidding. This game is odd for me. It's odd, like a Dave Aranda and a Hugh Freeze press conference. Like everything about this game is just odd from that to the gameplay. Like I had to just kind of throw a dart on this one. I don't know how the four offensive coordinator system is going to work. They might start pulling fans out of the stands to call plays. I don't know, like if they have some sort of competition going there. Jackson Arnold, they seem to be really high on him. I don't necessarily see it. Baylor, we know the one thing Dave Aranda is great at, besides giving weird press conferences, is coaching defense. So they're going to be in a frenzy there. That atmosphere, just like Clemson with the SEC and the SEC scalps on the line. They're going to be fired up. It's the marquee matchup of the night. Like they're the it game for this week. So, Mike, what are your initial thoughts on this one? What stands out to you? Baylor, Auburn. It's just, where do you go with this matchup?
So I took a U-turn on this one. And this is a game we've brought up here and there a lot. I feel like all summer we've brought up this game a lot, talking about it. I was banging the drum on Baylor. Then the last week and a half, I did more of a deep dive into both teams. And I think Auburn could dominate in the trenches potentially. Their O-line is going to be really good. They got Xavier Chaplin at left tackle, who was at Virginia Tech, and Mason Murphy, who came over from USC. Mm-hmm. And on D-line, they're going to be pretty good as well. That was something I had overlooked before in being so Baylor heavy. That Auburn group in the trenches looks pretty solid to me. And I think that's something that we all need to watch for, especially breaking in a quarterback like Arnold, who struggled last year, is coming in, but we know has good weapons around him.
Yeah, I don't know how it equates to long-term success over the course of their season, because I think there's a lot of other things that are a mess right now. But I'm just, it came down to me for like not, all the other things that are a mess. I think Auburn can squeak by this one on the front lines, right? Hammer, Boss Man, you guys are right there. I don't know how far away you are from Baylor, but you guys are closer to Baylor than I am. I'll put it that way. What are you guys hearing in Texas, wherever? What are you guys hearing about Baylor?
Baylor's not too far away from me, just up the road on I-35 in Waco. So probably about an hour and a half if I wanted to get to McLean Stadium. But Baylor should be in the conversation for the Big 12 title all season long. You look at this roster, you look at what they have there. This is Dave Aranda's best roster that he's had. Sawyer Robertson coming back at QB. They've got 18 returning starters. So, and they were pretty good last year, right? They made a little run there. I think they won
8 games.
Yeah, they won a bunch of games, 6 straight or something, right? Yeah. So, I think this is going to be a really solid Baylor team. It really worries me about Auburn going in there, game one. I think this Auburn team is going to be improved this year. I like this roster. I think it's the best roster that Hugh Freeze has had. There's still a couple of holes here and there. But overall, I think they're going to be better. So my big question in this game is that Baylor defense that Dave Aranda, will have ready. What does this offense with Auburn look like right out of the gate with all those weapons around Jackson Arnold? Is Jackson Arnold able to get the ball to Cam Coleman and those other wide receivers? What does Auburn's running game look like? And are they able to do it against a defense that with Dave Aranda is going to be ready to go? And last thing I'll say is against this Dave Aranda defense, I don't know if it was a quip. I don't know what Hugh Freeze was doing, but I tell you this, there better be one dadgum play caller in the headset when it comes on Friday night, because Dave Aranda's defense is going to be ready, and you do not want any more confusion than there has to be, because it's going to be a cauldron. So,
yeah.
Don't worry about their taking a vote.
No.
I'm almost opposite of Mike. Most of the offseason coming into it, I was thinking Auburn all day, right? I mean, come on. They're talented. Yeah. Hugh Freeze is coming into year 3. But frankly, and this could totally be like a smokescreen, and Hugh Freeze is, pulling the wool over everyone's eyes with all these things he's been saying in the press conferences. But exactly, I don't know if he's smart enough to do that. And so just all the stuff that's been coming out of camp, I have not liked. And if Auburn had, a cupcake and then a G4 or G6 team, in week 2 and then had a big game, I would probably think nothing of it. But yeah, just going into Baylor week 1 with what feels like, at least what they've said publicly, a lot of uncertainty does not sound great to me. And, the only thing I can say about Baylor, back to your question, Corey, is Sawyer Robertson, not only is he, returning, I think there was he's got great reviews from the Manning Passing Academy that he was one of the best ones there. And also, I think Baylor really paid up to keep him. I think multiple SEC teams were inquiring. Certainly Tennessee after that happened.
Tennessee.
I mean, no one's tampering, but people wanted him, and Baylor, paid up to keep him. So I think he's dangerous in this game.
Steve, final thoughts, and we got to pick this one.
Yeah, I had John Forcade on my Locked On Ole Miss show a little bit earlier this week, and he was at the Manning Passing Academy, and he said that Sawyer Robertson was the best quarterback there. Not a good quarterback. He was the best quarterback there, which makes me think if there's turnovers, if there's short fields for Auburn, with the crowd getting going, if they get into this game, they can have an effect of what's going on. And honestly, I think that's going to be what happens. Give me the Baylor Bears in that game.
All right. Well, Steve's kicking it off. He's taking Baylor. Jeb?
Nope, I'm the same way. I just feel like in a close game like this, first game of the season, before you've had a chance to really get a lot of cohesion going, I'm going to go with the veteran quarterback who's really good over the guy who just transferred in, who wasn't that great last season. So,
Yeah,
I'm definitely going with Baylor.
Something tells me, my gut instinct's telling me Auburn for some reason. I think if things just kind of go sideways, I kind of lean on the experience in the trenches, and I think that can just pull Auburn through somehow, some way, and just a little bit of luck. So
Cam Coleman and Eric Singleton can correct a lot of mistakes in that secondary. They can make plays and contested plays. They can help Jackson Arnold out. That's why you pick Auburn, is the Cam Coleman factor.
Yeah, I mean that goes along with it too as well. So, and the fact that Jackson Arnold is going to have an opportunity to be able to, if things break down, to be able to find those guys. So I like Auburn here. I think they're going to win this game long term. Have no clue what's going to happen long term. This thing could unravel after this week, but for now, I'm going Auburn. Hammer?
Yeah, I'm going Baylor. I feel a little uneasy about the news out of Auburn camp. I think they will be improved overall, but I just don't like this spot going on the road on a Friday night in week 1. So I'll take Baylor in this one.
Boss man.
I don't like my pick at all, but I'm with you, Corey. My gut is telling me Auburn. And I look at this game, and it looks like Baylor, just based on 18 starters, Sawyer Robertson, all that stuff that you guys just went through. But I also think that Auburn, they know how big this game is. If you lose this game, you're staring 2-3 straight in the face. And that's because next week you got Ball State, then you get South Alabama, and then you are at Oklahoma, at Texas A&M.
Mm-hmm.
So 2-3 is right on the table. So you got to get some momentum out of the gate. And if they're looking at 2-3, maybe they could jump up and get one of those guys. It could happen. But having to go on the road for those 2 games in week 4 and week 5, you don't like your chances. So they really need a win here. And I think they get that. I think Hugh Freeze will have them up for it. And I really do like those weapons on the outside. Eric Singleton, Cam Coleman, they are loaded at wide receiver. And so if Jackson Arnold can do just enough to get it done, I think he does. I think this one is something like a 21-17 type of game that's a little sloppy early. It's an early season game, but I like Auburn to get that win 21-17 walking out of Waco.
All right. Mike?
Schedule doesn't get any easier for Baylor either. They got SMU next week. 2 weeks after that, they got Arizona State. So if they lose this, it could be 1-3 for them as well. Like you said, Corey, and we had talked about before, I think this game gets won in the trenches. War Eagle.
Jake?
I just trust quarterbacks here, and I don't trust Jackson Arnold to make the plays he needs, because in the Alabama game last year, he only threw 8 times. Now, he did run the ball a lot, but if Baylor keys in on that and he can't pass it, they don't have a Jacquez Hunter behind him anymore to hand the ball off to get some yardage. Their running back may be really good. I don't even know who it is, but Jacquez Hunter was a stud. I don't know how this guy's going to be. And at Baylor, trying to learn all this and get going, I just don't see it happening. So give me Baylor.
All right. Well, that wraps up this marquee matchup. segment of the show. Now we're gonna move a little faster. All right. So the way this block is going to work, we have three matchups, so we're gonna each give a little bit of a bit about, and then we're gonna like rapid fire through some of these other picks, and we're going to finish out the show that way. So this is, I guess you could say, this is the rest of our picks segment. Picks. So yeah, we're on fire with that. So Steve, I'm gonna start with you on this one. Syracuse versus Tennessee. This one's going to be interesting. This is a neutral site game. Fran Brown's got something cooking up at Syracuse. They're 13.5-point underdogs. Do they cover, Steve?
I don't know. It's one of those situations like if Blair and Gulo, I think that's his name, the quarterback that transferred in and won the job for Syracuse. I'm curious to see what he is going to look like. But something just tells me that they just don't have the horses to get within 2 touchdowns to Tennessee for what it is. So give me the Volunteers.
Jeb?
Yeah, and Tennessee's got a lot of new players they're going to have to work in as well. But I've got to the point now I pretty much trust Josh Heupel with that kind of stuff. They're working in a lot of new offensive linemen, but it's also people like a 5-star being brought in and a couple of great guards that they brought in through transfer portal. So I just feel like that's going to work out all right. The quarterback situation obviously is the biggest question mark for Tennessee. We'll just have to see how that goes. But again, in Josh Heupel's system, I don't feel like you have to be the best quarterback out there. You just have to be able to run his system, and I feel like Tennessee can do it. So, and then with Syracuse, I like the quarterback that won the job. I'm not sure about any of the people around him, how it's really going to go with their offense. I just feel like Tennessee's going to be able to outpace them and stay ahead. So I'm taking Tennessee.
Okay. Yeah, I'm taking Tennessee as well. I think this game's going to be pretty tight for a lot of the way. And we're going to be all of us that pick Tennessee are going to be sweating this one out. But then all of a sudden you're going to look up and they're going to be up by 3 touchdowns. And you're going to be like, well, how the hell did that happen? But I don't know how high I am on Tennessee long term, kind of like Auburn. I just don't really know what Aguilar brings to the table. But I do think the rest of the team can kind of support and push them ahead of Syracuse and really cover the spread. And that has nothing to do with the job that Fran Brown's doing at Syracuse. I think he's doing a fantastic job up there. He's the right coach for that place. And I just don't think this one, it's just not a good matchup for him.
Yeah, I'll be the first one to buck the trend then here. For me, this is not shade at Tennessee. I just think this is too big of a spread. I do think Tennessee wins fairly comfortably, but with all the newness they have, I just could see it being sloppy and them not really being able to pull away from Syracuse. So I like Syracuse to cover here, but Tennessee to win.
All right, boss man.
Not so fast, my friend. I forgot I got my Ticonderoga pencil. And that's not really to hammer, because that's to the rest of y'all with Tennessee, because I'm actually picking Cuse here. And the reason I'm picking Cuse is the same thing that Hammer said. It's the spread to me. I think that, Joey Aguilar breaking in, a new quarterback and just kind of everything that's going on with Tennessee right now is going to be difficult, at least in game 1, to cover a 13.5 spread. Syracuse they only have 8 returning starters, so Syracuse has a lot of newness going on as well that they're going to have to break in. But to me, the spread is just a little bit too big. Give me Cuse, but Tennessee wins by 10.
All right, Mike.
Yeah, there's a lot going on in this one for me. I think Steve Angeli will be a decent QB for Syracuse. And I also think we're, as a group, probably underestimating a team that won 10 games last year. It's not a small feat in Brown's year 1. And the troubling thing for me with Tennessee, they lost what made them good last year. Sampson was the best running back in the conference, and they were the best run D, and they lost most of that front 7. This spread is way too big for me to go with Tennessee. So I think they probably get a win, but I'm not taking them at that. So I'm going Syracuse to cover it.
All right, Jake.
I'm the same with boss man Mike Hammer. I think Cuse is going to keep it close enough. Spread's a little bit too high. I do ultimately think that Tennessee does win, though.
All right. Now, a couple of games that didn't have lines. Obviously, we all picked Arkansas Obviously, we all picked Florida in their games. Florida going against Long Island, and Arkansas going against Alabama A&M. Those games have no line, so don't think any of those teams have a chance to win. So we all picked that. So that's pretty much 2 free spaces for us on the pick chart. Mizzou, Central Arkansas. Just give me somebody that picked Central Arkansas. Are they going to end up covering this, or is Mizzou going to pull away?
Right now they're pulling away.
I picked Central Arkansas because of the spread,
Yeah.
but I'm
Yeah,
not
me
liking
too.
my chances.
Yeah,
What was
me
the
either.
spread? Was it
Yeah.
36?
36 and a
36
half,
and a half,
and it's
yeah.
33
It's-
right. 33
We're going to be
nothing.
sweating this one till the end. A backdoor cover could happen in this
That's
game.
right. You always worry about that 7, that 7 or 10 that comes,
Yeah.
late in the 4th.
Yeah, well, it's we're going to be hanging on to this one. The rest of us picked Missouri there. Now, Jake, I listened to your preview on Bama After Dark. Alabama versus Florida State, 13.5-point favorites in Tallahassee. Thomas Castellanos finally going to get a chance to put his money where his mouth is with all this trash talk. Jake, I'm going to start you off right here. Alabama, Florida State, give it to me.
Well, as everybody knows, we lost a big piece in the interior defensive line this week in Tim Keenan, so that really matters. You're going to probably see several different guys, mainly probably Jeremiah Beeman to take that spot. But overall, Ty Simpson, his first start, probably looking at some rain. I don't think it's going to be a total washout, depending on when it rains. If it's first half, it may be close, but overall, I know they had a ton of transfers in, but Florida State, they are, they're still kind of like a rebuilding season. They're going to be a lot better than a 2-10 record for sure. But I think Alabama can cover, and I think they got a lot to prove from their 9-3, season last year.
All right, Mike, let's. What do you think, man?
Everything in this game tells me to pick Florida State to cover, except the rosters. So,
Yeah.
But
if rain's in the forecast, though, that changes things a little bit with
It
Gus
does.
being the offensive coordinator.
And
Yeah.
it sounds like they're going to do running back by committee and really commit to running the ball a lot more as a team this year. That O-line is beefed up. I'm a big Simpson fan. I think he's going to be really good. I wonder how much we see from them in game one, or are they going to get too deep in the playbook or just figure they can outdo Florida State? I think we see a lot. Both teams, Jake will know this. Bama has a lot of good running backs. I think they try to work a lot of them in.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is a game where I'm probably sweating it out, but I like the Seminoles to lose by less than 2 touchdowns in this one and cover.
Okay, Mike going Seminoles, boss man.
Now, for real, not so fast, my friend. Get that pencil up there. Congratulations.
Becky's with me.
So,
Becky's with me in this one. Yeah.
on a great career. It's hard not to pick Sunshine Scooter and Florida State when I'm doing his not so fast, my friend, with his Ticonderoga pencil here. But I'm going with Alabama. I think Alabama just has a much better team. I picked Ty Simpson to be my SEC Player of the Year. So I'm really high on Alabama this year. I think that I was out on a limb a little bit. So, but we'll see. I really do think that Ty Simpson's going to be a really solid quarterback this year. I think Alabama's going to have a good year. I think it starts against Florida State, and I just think they're much better in terms of their roster. I just think they overpower Florida State. I don't think it's, by 40 or something, but I do think
Right.
they win comfortably by 17, 21, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Hammer.
Yeah, same here. Y'all keep bringing it up. I'm with you. I think the talent edge is heavily in Bama's favor, and along with experience. I mean, Florida State, not only were they bad last year, but they lost a lot of guys to the portal, as you would when you're.
They wish they
2-10.
were bad. They were.
Yeah. So I just think that's too much newness off of a bad team to break in against a team like Alabama. So give me the Tide to cover here.
Yeah, Florida State's going to be much improved, and you're going to see them playing hard. And they're going to, for a different reason, you're going to be sweating. I'm going to be sweating this one out because Florida State's going to, I think they're going to start well against Alabama, and Alabama's going to try to be figuring things out. Alabama, they better not try to just they better have a plan. They should not try to just outdo Florida State. That would be a big mistake in their part because Florida State's way too talented for that mentality. So they're going to have to empty the playbook on this one. They're going to have to really play. But I think when you compare the rosters, Bama at full strength, Florida State at full strength, I just don't think Florida State can hang with them. Florida State's going to be much improved, but against Bama, I don't know if that's really going to matter. So give me the Crimson Tide.
Yeah, I'm honestly in the exact same position. I think Florida State will be a lot better this year, but this ain't going to be the week for them. I will just have to see with Kalen DeBoer. I know it was a disappointing first year for him, not nearly on the level of Florida State, but still, it was a disappointing year. And I think he will bounce back, have a better year. It'll be interesting to see how he does, though. Kind of what you're talking about, Corey. Is he really going to open this up and really play, give his all in the first game when he thinks he's going to win anyway? I would like to see it because Nick Saban would destroy the Florida State this year.
If he does that, they will lose. If he does that, I'm going to take an L on this pick, but I don't think he's going to do that.
Well, we'll see. I'm very interested to find out. So I'm going to pick Alabama to cover this, though.
Yeah, Steve.
And I'm going to pick Alabama to cover as well, but everybody needs to realize if it rains, that changes things because Gus Malzahn has some black magic over Alabama. They run the ball. Thomas Castellanos is like built in a lab to run what Gus Malzahn does. That could change some stuff, but like I said, 2-10 is just fresh on the brain. But there's always the chance that Kalen DeBoer does an Oklahoma thing. If you remember that game, it was the quarterback run that was the undoing of Alabama.
Yeah,
so,
I don't want to remember it.
Yeah, that gives me a little bit of pause, but Alabama has the far superior roster.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I think Thomas Castellanos kind of awoke the beast here. He's been talking trash for 3 months now. And, I mean, to me, it was like, look, you didn't need to get Alabama up for this game, but you just keep talking smack, man. And I think he woke the beast in this one.
He also got benched at Boston College last year. So
exactly.
And I agree, Steve. He probably fits what Malzahn wants to do a lot better than what O'Brien wants to do.
Not O'Brien.
Brian. It's Bill Brian.
Brian. There's
Bill
no
Brian. Yeah. You get it right.
Sorry. Of course.
Terrible.
All right. Some other games of note before we get to Virginia Tech, South Carolina. A&M versus UTSA. Looks like we are all pretty much unanimous there, except for Boss Man with the Roadrunners and Becky with the Roadrunners. I imagine it just has something to do with the spread, right, Boss Man?
Me.
Yeah, A&M.
I'm on the Roadrunners too.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, look, I'm an Aggie. Obviously, I think A&M's going to win this game. I have been watching A&M football for so long, and we don't cover spreads in these type of games. We always, fiddle with our food until the third quarter, and then we score a touchdown, and then we win by 2 or 3 touchdowns. But I just don't think that we cover the spread in this one, but I do think we win.
All right. Ole Miss, Georgia State. Most of us picked Ole Miss. Again, I think Boss Man's going spread here, right? 38.5.
Yep.
Yeah.
I guarantee that's Becky's thinking too.
Yeah.
She doesn't trust that spread.
Charleston Southern Vandy.
Hey, props for Vandy having a 30-point line.
I know.
Yeah. That's incredible.
Yeah, seriously, that's almost like hell freezing over.
I know, right? It's crazy. So you have to pick it, right? That's like Diego Fabio. But
the next thing you know, the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse are going to show up.
Right. I don't think you realize how abysmal Charleston Southern actually is, guys. They're pretty bad.
I've seen Vanderbilt.
Missouri just went up 40-0. They are covering now.
Good.
And they look really good in the third quarter.
Okay.
Yeah, they've looked really good, by the way. They just put up the 3 games on Saturday on the SEC network. Toledo at Kentucky. Man, oh my goodness. That has Kentucky disaster written all over it.
It does.
Yeah, we're going to get to that one in a second. Oklahoma, Illinois State. Boss Man just riding the plus side of these high spreads, man.
It's not a bad strategy. You're going to hit some of them.
Without a doubt. These spreads just are so high in these week 1 games, and somebody always goes over, okay, maybe Mizzou did, but a lot of these teams, it's just you struggle out of the gate, you're getting your feet under you in week 1.
maybe trying out some new stuff you're not going to do later on, or just see how it works.
Yeah.
You're right. It happens.
Georgia's going to smack me in the face because they're just not. I'm stupid. I picked them, but they're not going to cover the spread. Like,
Yeah,
Big
just-
spread too.
the spread is what got me for Marshall. Yep.
you think I would learn, right? But no, I'm not. I don't learn. I don't learn. They're not going to cover the spread.
They're going to win by 41 points. I can feel it.
I'm picking that too, but they're going to win by 35. And
This is a Mike Bobo rebirth. They're going to step on the gas.
Hey, they got some weapons. They could.
That's a bold statement, Henry.
I know.
Very
Well, I
bold.
picked them to cover, so I'm just kind of hoping.
That might be bordering on hot take.
Is the Mike Bobo NASCAR package like the original NASCAR with Model A's and that?
Yeah, it is. So I got a question for the panel here. Why are we all high on Southern Miss? Most
Because it's Mississippi
Marshall.
State.
Southern
because-
Marshall, baby.
I
I
all of
actually
those
picked the
players,
Bulldogs to
including
cover this one.
I'm talking
I
did too.
Southern Miss.
the Sun Belt preseason player, the offensive player of the year, plays for Southern Miss. The person that got Marshall the Sun Belt championship, he's going to be the quarterback. And he brought 30 of his friends with him. And Southern Miss has been collecting backups from Ole Miss and Mississippi State for years at this point.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean that's why I had him. That's why I got him. Yeah, it's crazy. Like we're almost like unanimous against Mississippi State, but this spread is weird. It's double digits. I don't love this spread.
And it's weird. It's weird double too, where a touchdown and a field goal don't do it. It has to be 2 touchdowns. So this is one where against my better judgment, I did go with Mississippi State. I think they're going to be quite a bit better. They got 2 pretty good running backs with Booth and Bothwell. I might be wrong on this one and have got it all the way back.
No,
I had the Locked On Sunbelt person on my show yesterday, and I asked him about this game. I
Schwartz?
said, "This is the Schultz." They
Schultz,
said
yeah.
this is the biggest game in college football history involving a team that won 2 games and a team that won 1 game the previous
Yeah.
year.
If Mississippi State still had President Vanderbeer at quarterback, I would pick them, but they don't. So
Yeah, they impeached him.
right,
Hattiesburg's going to be rocking too.
Yeah,
They're
it
going
is.
to be rocking.
Hattiesburg.
And Mike, I'm
Wild
with you anyway.
in Hattiesburg too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe Brett Favre will be there. You never know.
he might be.
Is he banned
State,
from
look,
it?
State's generally bad, but they always have some early game where they actually look really good and play well. I feel like they're going to cover this one.
It ain't
They're
gonna
gonna
be
look
this
like a good team. I
ain't
think they
gonna be
will.
Now,
I think this is going to surprise everybody. But then they'll get in the SEC and just get killed.
now several of us are high on the Maction leader Toledo over Kentucky.
Yeah.
I'm drinking the Kool-Aid myself. It's mostly like I'm just more down on Kentucky, and even if Kentucky wins, I just don't think it's. I think it's going to be a really ugly game, and I think that kind of favors Toledo here.
They put
The real
40 points on
UT.
Mississippi. They put 40 points on Mississippi State at Mississippi State last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're good.
Yeah, and they're legit. Jason Candle does a really good job at Toledo.
And they got Kentucky's running back from him, Chip Trainum.
Mhm.
Y'all are forgetting about one man. You're forgetting about him, Zach Calzada, Dragon Slayer.
Incarnate word legend.
Yeah.
Wildcats.
Yeah.
He's going to get a win. Y'all don't even worry about it. You shouldn't even be talking about this game. Zach Calzada's got it.
Third time's a charm in the SEC. I heard.
Yes, exactly.
I mean, he is like
What's the spread in this one?
7.5.
7.5.
Okay.
Missouri's
putting
putting the backup
cover.
Missouri's putting the backup quarterback in with 1 minute left in the third quarter at 40-0.
Is that the one that got hurt?
Oh, sounds
boy.
like a backdoor cover.
Yeah, that's good. That's what everyone says.
This is the third. This is the third string. Matt Zollers is in the
Okay.
game,
Oh boy,
Yeah.
and he's a freshman.
this is not good.
He was a
for-
decent recruit. I think he's a Pennsylvania guy.
All right, you.
And somebody just dropped the ball, and it's like, hey, we got backups in the game. Let's get sloppy. This definitely feels like a backdoor cover for Central Arkansas.
Yes. Yes.
You mean this Central Arkansas team?
Yep.
Oh man.
What year is that from, Corey?
09.
Dude, I coached against him that year when I was at Northwestern State.
Really?
We didn't win a game that year.
He let me borrow this, and I never gave it back to him. Pretty good. Gives you a lot of insight. So yeah. All right, now let's end this thing with our last secondary game here. Virginia Tech, South Carolina. I think we talked about all the other ones briefly. So we'll Virginia Tech, South Carolina, Steve. This one's on Sunday afternoon. South Carolina 7.5-point favorites. That's a neutral site game. So how do you feel about this one?
Listen, ever since Vandy beat Virginia Tech, everybody just gave up on Virginia Tech. There's no chance they have a chance to beat South Carolina and all of this. And I'm just not buying that. I think this is an upset alert game for South Carolina. You need to be careful about that game. Now, I am picking South Carolina to win. I'm going to take the Gamecocks in the game. But this is one of those upset alert games that Virginia Tech could rise up and get potentially, because I do not trust Mike Shula at all.
Steve, did you just say rise up?
Rise up.
That sounds great coming out of your mouth. Yeah, that sounds great.
The game's at Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
Yeah, it is. You should say rise up, Mercedes-Benz. You fit in well as a Falcons fan. I love it.
Yeah.
Fit in well. Rise up. That just sounds natural coming from
Rose.
Sounds natural.
I would rather watch two girls in one cup than become a Falcons fan.
Oh, God bless.
I don't know what that is. I don't.
Don't look it up.
Never heard of it.
Jeb,
Even I know that. Even I know
Google
that.
it. Don't Google it.
Yeah.
Jeb's like, let me share my screen. No, Jeb.
Live TV, something else.
No, that's not more than twice. I'm not doing it again.
Not more than twice.
Sorry.
Wait, you watched it longer than 10 seconds? Yeah.
Jeb, you got a lot of
Oh,
revelations
God, no.
that's coming out.
Jeb.
Yeah.
Hold on.
The good news is if Revelations comes out, it's almost over, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pick
making
this
my
game,
stomach
Jeb.
hurt.
Just pick this game, Jeb. Let's forget that. Yeah.
We broke Corey, everybody.
Yeah.
Speechless.
Yeah.
Oh, Jeb, go for it. Did Jeb pick the game? I
No.
didn't even pick the game.
Who are we talking about again? I'm sorry. No, South Carolina.
Yeah.
I'm going with South Carolina on that. These last 2 or 3 weeks have been rough, and I hadn't had a chance to really research Virginia Tech that well, so I don't know a lot about them. I feel like South Carolina is a team that's got a lot of talent, but they've been disappointing. But I feel like they're going to cover this week, so I can trust Beamer Ball for 1 week. So I'm going with South Carolina.
Yeah, well done on the grenade, Steve, by the way.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
well done. Well done.
What sport are we talking about? I don't know.
I was befuddled. I think when I looked at this game, I'm like, okay, these two teams are very, very similar. The quarterbacks are very similar. Kyron Jones, Lenore Sellers are very similar in the style of play and, just the makeup of these teams. And to me, it comes down to coaching. And and for once, I never thought I'd ever say this, but Shane Beamer has the coaching advantage by, I think, a lot over Brent Pry in this matchup. And I think that's where the line is going to be drawn. I think Virginia Tech is going to struggle containing Lenore Sellers. I think that's going to be enough to lift them past the Hokies, and it's going to tune them up for that epic matchup with Vandy. It's a rematch the next week for their true home opener. But I like the Gamecocks in this one, 7.5. I think they're going to ride with that, and I think they win by 10.
I like it. I'm on the Gamecocks as well. I'm a believer in Lenoris Sellers. I think he's going to have a fantastic season. I think it starts week 1. And if you the little bit of research I've done on Virginia Tech, they're basically totally rebuilding on both sides of the ball out of the portal. They lost their top 2 wideouts, top 2 running backs, multiple offensive linemen, brand new coordinators on both sides of the ball. I mean, it's a full on overhaul. So I think South Carolina is a better team here and more ready for this game, especially at a neutral site. So I'll take South Carolina.
Boss man.
I almost pulled our first fast one of the season here and went against what I put in the sheet. But just listening to you guys talk about it, I started thinking about it a little bit more. I'm going to stick with my pick here. I'm going with Virginia Tech, and I just think they cover. I think that South Carolina ends up winning this game. But, a 7.5 spread here, I think, is very easily South Carolina could cover. But let's not forget last season, what did it look like out of the gate for South Carolina? They almost lost to freaking Old Dominion in Columbia. So I'm just a little bit worried about that. I think Lenore Sellers is going to have a great year as well, but they don't typically start out too fast. We're replacing a lot along the offensive line for South Carolina again this year. We're a little worried about what that looks like. I'm not too sure about the weapons that Lenore Sellers has there on the outside. So I don't think South Carolina starts fast in this game. I think Virginia Tech obviously has a lot of their own issues. I just think it's probably a sloppy game here, and I think it comes down to the wire. I think South Carolina ends up getting the win here, but I just think Virginia Tech is able to keep it close enough in the end here. And by the way, one other thing I want to mention here, I'd like to use this time to give myself some flowers because last week I went 5-0. So I hope we're counting those games towards the season totals, baby.
We don't need to count any of those games, actually.
No.
We're counting those games.
No,
I was 4-1. Let's count them.
Yeah, I agree. Me and Mike are on the same team.
No.
I won at least 3 of them. So
Preseason.
I'm cool.
I
don't know about
I don't remember.
I was absent, so we'll count that as 5-0.
I'm petitioning.
And before we get out of here, let's just say thoughts and prayers go out to the Cowboys fans.
Oh,
We're having a pretty rough day.
And end stream.
Yeah.
yeah.
Hi guys.
I'll see you later.
I gotta go.
That was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Core will end the stream.
Mike, did you and Jake pick?
No, not yet. Go ahead, Mike.
Go, Mike.
Yeah.
Love it.
Pains me to say this. I'm actually not picking my alma mater to cover. As Bossman alluded to, in Shane Beamer's 4 seasons, in their first game against another power conference team, he's only covered the spread once. They've not been a good starting team in any of his years there. They've ended well.
Wait, where did we get a soundboard all of a sudden?
What did that come from?
Man, we're professional now.
But they've been a slow starting, fast finishing team throughout his time there. And I don't think Virginia Tech is going to be all that good this year, but they were massively disappointing last year. And I do think they get a little.
When I ended the stream.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Mike. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Long story short, I'm picking the Hokies to cover against my alma mater for the things I just said before I was interrupted.
Do it off the stage.
Good pick, Mike.
Yeah.
Cox win by 4. Yeah.
So
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm like a 6-year-old. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So I gotta say real quick before I get to my pick, what is that tune that y'all do?
Sandstorm.
Yeah,
Sandstorm.
Sandstorm.
Yeah.
So that with the college football Wendy's thing, the college basketball thing a few years ago was outstanding. That commercial was in there. But anyway, for this game, I'm with Steve. I think it does have a little bit of upset alert. I can see, it being close going into the fourth quarter, and I'm picking South Carolina. I think they're going to get a late field goal to push it to 10, and then there's not going to be really a lot time left to, we got the kid in here.
Where
Steve,
are we finding these? I don't even know where to get these.
I have no idea.
Is that the 2-minute whistle?
Yeah. Anyway, South Carolina for the win.
Yeah, now that we have a soundboard, it's all over.
It's
It is
a heartbeat?
all over.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, we're off the rails.
Yeah, somebody mute mine. Mute Steve.
Oh my gosh.
All right, hold on.
That
All right,
was
we're at 2 minutes.
South Carolina's going to win. I'm like cockaboo. So I did that.
Yep. Yeah.
There you go. So that's going to wrap our show. I'm going to put
Thank
the picks
God.
up real quick. This has gone off the rails now with the sounds. But here's some of our picks on the notable games and the 6 notable ones. Check those out. Round of applause for all of our picks, all of our panel. This is. Yeah. So that's a groovy graphic. So Mike, no pressure on you next week. You gotta one up that. So Stephen Willis,
was awesome.
Stephen Willis, host of Locked On Ole Miss and Lord of the Soundboard. He has what are you up to? You up to 16,000 these days?
About to go over. I think tomorrow. Tomorrow at some point I'll go over 15,400.
Nice.
Woo.
So you can catch him every day in the Ole Miss podcast sphere, wherever you get your podcast, and on YouTube. Jeb, in recovery, you made it through, buddy. Made it through.
Barely, but I'm there.
Tip of the cap. But hey, next week will be even better. Hammer and Boss Man make up Biscuits and SEC. If you missed their show, you better catch up, man. This is they do a great job since they've joined, and they've been crushing it ever since. Mike Huseman, Off Season After Dark, on episode 16, I believe.
Yep. Talking Brett Bielema next week.
Love it.
Illinois.
Now,
Illini.
Off Season After Dark.
Yes, I've decided against a rebrand. Several people have asked, actually.
Yeah, so it's like off season, in season, off season.
Yeah.
Right? You just kind of like
Mike's off season now.
Yeah.
he's already
It
fought.
would just be too confusing, and I'd lose what I built. I feel like if I changed the name.
Yeah.
Well, just unofficially, you can change the name. Jake Thomas, your double dose. Your double dose of Alabama. Man After Dark.
Yeah.
Tide Talk Live with Stacey.
This is going way off the rails.
Yeah. God.
Steve's got a whip on this dead horse, man. He just bam.
That dead horse said no chance.
God bless y'all that are still watching.
Dead air,
Yeah.
Corey. Dead air. You can't have dead air.
I know. And I'm Corey Burton, locked on. I always said locked on Ole Miss. Locked on man. Regular guys.
Corey can't get through this.
The dogs anchor down. Peace.
The gong.